The colonialists left.
So it seems
so now when the colonialists came, they brought all these other new things. Now, anyone can hook up with anyone.
At any
time.
A one-night stand, as it is called, is a very simple thing.
And the danger of anyone hooking up with anyone is that you end up in some of these situations where now someone is pregnant and you're saying, but I cannot take you anywhere. Because I'm not even ready anyway.
There was a conversation about no strings attached. I want you to tell us about the folly of that. I mean, you've seen it.
As in people hooking up and saying
for fun.
Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits, no strings attached. I want you to delve into that concept from your experience and how you've seen it turn out.
In episode, I think, was it the last 17? When you had the sex therapist?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
There's a part where he mentions that something to do with your, if say the sex was good before, and you do know that if you hooked up, for instance, with a girl and you have a good time, chances are very high you're going to hook up again.
Of course.
And if you keep hooking up again, those are strings now that you're attaching. Yeah? Somewhere in between it's going to get messy. It's either pregnancy, someone's wife is going to find out, someone's
husband is going to find out.
Or the other party she's going to get hooked.
Hooked. Yeah. And meanwhile, you discuss this, that there are no strings attached.
Yeah.
But she's slowly starting to act strange. You understand? Now, before you realize it, she's telling her best friends. And these things I'm telling you are live examples I have seen. A girl literally says, now, because I said strings attached, or your guy, ngenda mutega mtezi mwana.
Gonna give him a baby.
To keep him.
Because you realize you said no strings attached, and the guy is acting aloof. You know, it's like, just come, child, go away.
He's acting like you had a contract. He's
taking the contract. He's taking the contract. Because we guys have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, because you said earlier on that the guys are physical and so on. The guy can go down with a girl purely on physics.
Yes.
No chemistry.
Correct.
Right? But for the girl, it's a bit
this
impossible.
whole repetition now creates a new situation. This whole attachment.
You know, I like to say that a mistress is stress from the wrong place. That's why she's and you see, this is how it turns out.
Exactly.
You get. And then you have kids being now raised as bastards. And I want us to now go and talk about kids. Because Lawrence, as a resident pastor, are you going to let this conversation pass without bringing out the spirituality?
Resident pastor.
No, for now, just hold on a minute. Just want to finish something now. Because there's also a new concept also that I want to talk about. There is this thing of by the way, when my wife talked about it, she seems to be what they call it, the protagonist of this thing, and while so now there's this thing. I think it also comes from glamorizing single motherhood.
Yeah.
So girls now come out of university, maybe uni or something, and they're telling you now you're 23, 22, 23, and now they're saying, now let's just have, you won't have now.
What does that mean?
It's just they're telling you now, now next thing is marriage. You're going kids. But then there's this new thing of this new trend of giving birth early. Then giving birth early was, our great grandmothers had. I know my great grandmother had kids my grandmother at 13.
Yeah.
But though my parents had us, when my mother, for example, had me at 24, when I do the math, and all our parents were all, at least I know they're all in their 20s. But late, but they were old, they were mature, they understood what they were doing. But now there's a new trend of having kids early, apparently, so that you can get back in shape, and then there's this new thing on social media, twinning. You and your child look like you're the same age. you look trendier. Have you seen Desire Rosin and her daughter? They look like siblings. Do you know how many girls are doing that because of that woman?
Role model.
Wow.
Literally, when you see them, they basically look like, I've even seen people joking and saying, "Esh bonamba twar." You understand? They look like, but the father is not there. You understand? But you're having this kid with who? At 20, at 21, you don't even know, you don't understand what a marriage is like. I mean, what child? And our generation now raising a child at 21 is problematic because there are things you have to be doing at that age. You have to be getting skilled, discovering yourself, doing all these sorts of things.
It's a full-time job.
Yes, and now you are.
So you have a 24-year-old.
24-year-old is fair, but a 21-year-old.
21-year-old part-timely raising
a child.
And at the same time,
from a no strings attached.
From a no strings attached setting.
The
daddy is not there.
Yes, because either he's also young, or
he's busy.
He's busy, or he wasn't ready to have to marry a 21-year-old. Do you understand? Because now a 21-year-old technically means that you are going fully dependent on the guy.
So you have a child raising a child.
Yes, you're going to be fully, because you're also not independent enough. But because you thought to yourself, we shall be older, I'll get back in shape, we shall have kids early, and then before you realize it, the guy was not ready, so they've left you now. You're now a single mother. Because you're looking. The other day, there are even married couples I've seen. The other day, I saw people looking at the other president. There's a TikTok where she was walking and she had high heels on, and she's a fit woman.
Which president is it?
The other one, the one of the ghetto. And her wife had this TikTok, and she looked, she was a physically fit woman, and petite and everything, and though her children are literally taller than her and everything. And I saw all the comments of, mother of four. But I could tell they were all saying, mother of 4 grown children,
but
looking good.
Looking that good.
But because she had these children, I think she had them way earlier because of the Irish Republic. But there's a certain age where you're supposed to be doing other things. And some of these kids, some of these women now, you find yourself in a situation where you are now doing, you are partying, because now the children are older. Now you think they can be okay, so you instead go and party. That setting cannot work in a proper marriage.
In this day and in this age where things have totally changed, it can't really work. Even if you had, as a single lady or even as a single man, even if you had the money, the raising of a child in 2022, basically in the year 2000 going forward, raising a child is totally different from how it was a few years back.
Correct.
Because right now the so-called liberal society has come. There are very many values. They want to basically democratize, so to speak, whatever values. Someone waking up and saying, I think I am a woman, and he's a dude. I always had a problem with that, because if that is legit, when someone wakes up and says, I am a woman, and actually the only gender that can do it is the male gender. They can go and they can convert into a woman. I innocently, the other day, 2 months back, I didn't know this, I innocently asked, can a woman convert to become a man? Turns out biologically it's impossible. It can't. You can't. So if it's a legit thing, it should be both sexes. You get my point?
Did you hear about Adele? Recently, she was given an award by the non-binary, that world.
Yeah.
And in her acceptance speech, she was like, I'm really grateful and I thank God for being a woman. And then she had problems, because she was given an award by
non-binary
people. I mean, here she was saying she was glad to be a woman.
So you get my point. That confusing. In this day and in this age, it's pretty confusing raising a child alone as a single whoever, either a man or a lady, and you're not necessarily there. So first of all, there is a disadvantage of the other parent not being available.
Correct.
And even if you're doing it for the sake of fashion, for the sake of glamour, at the end of the day, it has its side effects.
Correct.
It has its real side effects.
Very many. In fact,
and they're far-reaching than just.
Now, let me give you examples of the side effects. Statistically, for instance, in the US alone, they'll tell you if you count 10 inmates, 8 out of them come from single, and
Black.
also statistically, when they mention single parent households, they mean 7 out of 10 is single mother households. Now, prison, prostitution, go check mental illness, go check because psychiatrists tell you that even, for instance, when they talk about things like daddy issues, when they tell you a girl has daddy issues, it means that there was no father to begin with, because the father, his role is basically to nurture you, be physically present, give you affirmation, provide,
give you direction in life,
and praise
raise you up, give you values, authority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not getting any of those things from a father, they are going to tell you, now you're going to have to get them from either sugar daddy or someone older, or before you realize it, you're going to get, you're going to get with any guy who says, hey, you look good, whatever.
I was telling you, my brother, Denzel, time we're hanging out at Sauti Soul concert. And then he tells me, so we were chatting, and then he says, you know what, the easiest way to pick up a girl is to ask her how her daddy is.
Yeah, if the daddy is there, your game is done.
If she tells you, my dad is good, we're chatting yesterday or day,
no
chance. But if she says, my dad, no, that guy is dead to me, you are in.
Yeah, it's very easy to get in. Trust me. Yes,
let's pick this up when we come after this break. It's interesting. Our goal is to be a resource point of growth and safe space where men who are struggling can find a hug. Man can talk to man and become as iron sharpens iron, changing the countenance of his friend. And we want men to be there for each other in this treacherous journey that is a man's life. No man should struggle in the dark alone, and we intend to work with men who we view as wounded warriors to get back to their identity, to discover their innate potential as men, as husbands, as fathers, as leaders, because we believe that if the manhood challenge is solved in our generation, half the world's problems will also be solved. Well, we're back with DJ Bankroba. I want us to tackle this thing even as we come to a close of this episode. I want us to tackle this thing because we've literally, it might feel like we are talking about women here, but we're talking about the whole thing, the society.
We're talking about the shadow
of the man. So let us just go there. Are men responsible for this spate of single motherhood, in your opinion?
Yes and no. Yes, how? There's a point when you asked where are all the good men. You need to understand. I'm going to start with why they are not responsible.
Yeah.
When you asked me where are all the good men, you see, there's a challenge. There's a difference between good guys and nice guys, good men and nice guys.
Yeah.
Right now, there are more nice guys than good men. Yeah, and sometimes even a good man can be a nice guy.
I want to hear this.
Okay.
Now, a nice guy is who you'd call him fairy, that he does everything you want to see. The concept I explained to you earlier of the man is holding the bag, he's by the bar, he's by the bathroom waiting for you, holding the bag, doing everything,
opening the car,
3 times a day to check on you.
Yes, exactly. And as a girl, if you do not
differentiate,
if God has not given you the wisdom to discern
Now, this is
between
a
a
good
good
guy.
man and a mfere, because a good guy
You said
is
a good guy and
A good man and a nice guy.